I know you won't get slow down till the no good funky knuckle groove. Baby, 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 that'll help for you. Yeah, it's most definitely on the roof.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Amy Streim. I'm the executive director of the Rock and Roll Playhouse. The Rock and Roll Playhouse is the largest New York City family concert series. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about who we are, where we're going, and how we are influencing the new generation of concert goers that you'll see in your venues. The Rock and Roll Playhouse started a few years ago. The vision of the Playhouse was to create an experience for families that was different from what's out there right now. And the idea was to have it be family programming based on rock and roll music rather than based on kids' music. So it was the vision of Peter Shapiro, who saw the need to have something in his venues for families to go to. And the interesting part of it, it is a collaboration between Peter, a concert promoter, and myself, whose background is an educator, to develop this program. So it's been a really unique experience for us. When I first started working with Peter, I was always early, he was always a little bit late, and we started working on how to develop this curriculum. Oh, back up, there we go. So the first thing we did when we created the Rock and Roll Playhouse was to develop a curriculum for which to bring out the program. We decided to have the curriculum focus on music education and child development and set it to rock and roll music. So we spent time talking to music historians. We spent time at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We talked to different types of musicians. And what we did is we basically created an education program that we set to rock and roll music, similarly to any type of Mommy and Me program. What we are is we're not good musicians playing kids' music, singing to you about string beans. We're not kids playing the classics like School of Rock. What we really are is we're good musicians and we play the classics for kids. So the way we knew our program was working is we started by doing a lot of charity work. We went into schools and we tested out this curriculum, this program we created. We were in public schools teaching kids about writing, blues songs. We actually taught a summer camp, and in our summer camp we taught things like the Beatles, the Grateful Dead, Fish, the Rolling Stones. And while we were doing all of this programming and all of this creating of a curriculum, we initially thought we were going to do it and house it in its own venue, have a 6-week course. But over time, we decided that it actually doesn't need to be its own thing. We operate amazing venues here, both at Brooklyn Bowl and the Capitol Theater. Why not program in the afternoon when the venue wasn't open with this activity? And so that's what we did. Our first show was back in December of 2014 with Phil Lesh. It was a soft launch for us. Right here in this room, very quiet. We had 125 people. We had the band on the floor. And again, we did the show for charity. So we donated all of our proceeds to Mr. Holland's Opus to get music instruments back into the hands of kids. We had Tash Neal with us, and Devlin Goldberg was leading our curriculum at the time, and we had Phil. When he first walked in, Phil said to me, I might not actually play. I might just, use my shakers and sit down with my grandson and watch. And we said, of course, you don't have to play if you don't want to. But then he saw we had a new bass up for him. He came up, he started to play, and we had an amazing time. And as we were kind of exploring this first launch onto the curriculum and watching what kids do, we realized that it was more than all the activities we were putting out, that we were creating something amazing for parents because we were creating a way for them to pass down the music that they love to their children. So we continued doing it with Howard Jones, J-Rad, Jonathan Tubin, the London Souls, North Mississippi All-Stars, Stella Blues Band, Funky Meters, the Wailers. And as we started continuing to work with all these musicians who were coming through on their tour schedules, we said to ourselves, you know what? We can do this by hiring the local musicians that we know and we work with and creating programming. So that's what we did. We started by having shows here every week, both at Brooklyn Bowl and the Capitol Theater. And the programs continued to grow. And we were starting to sell them out. And we had fans, little ones, lining up to see what we were doing. And parents who kept saying to us, this is so unique, this is so different, we need more of this in our own cities. We added birthday parties, and we were having parents celebrate their child's first birthday party to the music of the Grateful Dead, right here at Brooklyn Bowl. The artists kept coming back to us and say, you know what, you're onto something. We love music, we want to pass the music down. And we started to work with different types of artists who also believed in the cause that we were doing. Questlove was an amazing person to work with. He came on board with us just as he was developing his Breaks for Kids series and started doing Family Bowl Train with us here at Brooklyn Bowl and at a different venue, Industry City, we operate at. The kids loved it, and as you can see, he had a blast. And so as we started working and doing these things, we said, you know what, we need to try this somewhere else. So we moved out of the city, and our first new venue was the Ardmore Music Hall, I think they're in the house, in Philadelphia. We sold out our first 3 shows there before we were even announcing our talent. We did the Beatles, the Grateful Dead, and Fish. The amazing thing about it is that the artists continue to come work with us. Right here you can see Tom Hamilton playing and Mike Greenfield from Lotus. So the interesting thing about this is, you know, he's not really going to bring his 14-month-old to a Lotus concert, but he did bring him to our concert, and you can see his little one just like toddled up on stage to join him. We went to Boston at the Sinclair. And then when the Bob and Phil duo tour went to Chicago, we also went to Chicago. And we worked with Mr. Blotto, the guys from Mr. Blotto, to put on Grateful Dead for Kids. We sold out our first 2 shows in Chicago within the first few weeks. We had over 500 people attend at each show. The families were so appreciative to have something to do with their kids. And as you can see, when we did this, more communities and more people started to email us. They said, please come to our city. So this is where we are today. 5 months after we first launched in Philadelphia, we're in 10 different venues. We're at Industry City in Brooklyn Bowl, Garcia's up at the Capitol Theater in Westchester, Brooklyn Bowl, the Boulder Theater, UC Berkeley, Marathon Music Works in Nashville, the Sinclair in Boston, Thalia Hall in Chicago, the Echoplex in LA, and the Ardmore Music Hall. And here we are, back to where we all started it with the Grateful Dead. On Father's Day, we'll be launching the Grateful Dead for Kids in doing 16 shows in 10 venues, 9 cities across the country. At each venue, the most amazing part of what we do is we work to develop a rapport and a relationship with the local musicians and the local talent so that we have our teaching artists who fly out and run our programming, but we work with local Grateful Dead bands all over the country, local Beatles bands all over the country. So what is it? What is our program? It's a 60-minute concert designed specifically for kids. We know what we're doing. We've worked out all the kinks. We start with a hello song. We get the kids jumping. We know what to do in terms of the right types of music to put on our show. And the format is designed to engage children by using things like streamers and parachutes and other types of activities. And what we're really creating is for children as young as newborns and 2- and 3-year-olds, we're showing them what a live music experience is like. I don't know, if you're a parent, you'll know that the days are long, but the years go by really, really fast. And before you know it, these little kids who have seen, you know, Grateful Dead concerts at the age of 5 will soon be 18 trying to sneak into your venues to see live shows. You can see them playing with the streamers. So the music of the Rock and Roll Playhouse, we have the Beatles, the Dead, Bob Marley, David Bowie, the Rolling Stones, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Tom Petty, Michael Jackson. We even do Hamilton the musical. And we work with a lot of different artists. You've seen most of them up on the screens. The nice part about the Rock and Roll Playhouse for venues is that the logistics and the way the program has been created is basically a turnkey operation. so that we have the staff, we hire our musicians, we book our bands, we have our materials, we know the curriculum. We have the administrative support back here in New York to run our programming. We have birthday parties that we can pop up. And what we help to offer the venue is an additional revenue stream, a time when the venue is usually closed. Saturday afternoons, there's not much happening. Maybe you have a band loading in at 4 o'clock. But at 11 a.m. when we're doing our shows, the venue's dark. So we're creating an opportunity to open up an additional revenue stream. And many of the venues we work with have told us that the brunch business booms because, as we all know, you have to always feed kids a lot. So what we also have learned is that it's a very unique audience. Parents have young kids. They're not seeing as many live shows. It's expensive to get babysitters. People are tired. And what we do is we help parents to kind of get back into that live music scene, something that's not always easy to do when your little one's still not sleeping through the night. We're really proud of what we've done. We're a small team, we're a mighty team. We believe in our cause, and we love working with the kids. Some of the things that are just really important to us, I would say we have given over $20,000 back to charity this year alone by doing benefit shows, and have donated over 250 tickets to local public schools. We've had almost 600 concerts in 4 years. And just this past week, we have had 55 concerts that are set to announce in the New York City area alone for June through August. The press has a lot to say, and we love reading about what they see and how amazing our program is and how much of a learning and rock and roll experience it is. But I can tell you that after years of teaching, I go to all of our shows, and when I walk in, it's like the first day of school for me. I greet all the kids when they walk in. I say hello. I watch them. I know my little kids who are going to put their hands all over the monitors because they like the way it feels. I know the kids who are going to spin around in circles, and the kids who will sit in the back and just eat some popcorn. And then we watch the kids interact with the parents and how the parents just love to share that music with them and pass it down. And when everyone leaves, they walk out, they say, that was the most amazing thing. We need more of that. We need to, at such a young age, have these live music experiences for our children that we can share. And that is the Rock and Roll Playhouse. We're very excited to be coming to venues near you. I am here as well as members of our team. If you want to learn more about our program and how we operate in different venues, please come find me. Okay, and I'm going to announce that coming up next we have Mr. B. Thank you so much.